Buffalo After Dark is proud to recommend I Barbecue for You. Pre-orders are suggested by calling 716-880-7667. I Barbecue for You, Buffalo's new barbecue destination.
Just move the coyotes. Don't do another expansion.
Right? It never crossed my mind. So somebody called the house when I was out mowing the grass.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Holy shit, your face is like purple.
Are you still up? Now in our 5th season, it's Buffalo After Dark.
Welcome to Buffalo After Dark, everybody. It is Wednesday night, May 28th, and of course it's me, it's Hanson here, and hard to believe we're only, about a month away from the end of Season 5 already.
I know, right? Time flew by so fast this year, like it's not even funny.
Yeah, it really did. And we really didn't take off too many shows this year either. We actually, I think we're on pace to have almost like 52 episodes this season.
That's pretty damn good, if you're asking me,
Something
though.
that. Yeah. I mean, just think about it. It's like, not that 19 weeks ago we had episode 200. Now we're at 219. And we just had like 150. It doesn't even seem that long ago.
I mean, what are we at? You said 219?
Yeah, today is episode 219.
So by next year, sometime this year coming up, we're probably going to reach 250.
Yeah, probably later in this. Yeah, probably sometime in season 6. So we should be getting pretty close.
And we might get to 500 by either season 7 or 8 at that point.
Right. Hey, if the FCC keeps us on that long, we'll be all right. So it's all good. But
I'm sure it will, but you know.
Hey, we're not traditional media. We don't have to worry about censors and all that stuff.
Exactly. So why do we care? You know?
Right. Exactly. But of course, glad to have everybody here. You know the deal. You can comment on YouTube, and we're also live on our Facebook as well. If you want to see some older episodes, go to Spotify. We do have some stuff on there, and we've got a lot of hockey news we're going to cover because there have been some moves made in terms of coaching, in terms of the GM side of things. And Hanson has publicly renounced his love of the Sabres.
Yeah, so I've been keeping this under the rug now for about, I want to say 4 months. Tom only found out maybe yesterday.
Yeah, you did tell me about it yesterday. Although I kind of had a feeling at some point it was going to probably happen, but...
Really? You thought that was going to do this sooner?
Probably.
Really?
I mean, they haven't done much in the last how many years?
That's true, but fair, but overall. But yeah, so for the context out there, Tom is correct. I am making a big life-changing decision starting tonight, and that is I am resigning from my fandom of the Buffalo Sabres after 28 years of heart, sweat, and tears and bloodshed, you name it. And the product is just not the same anymore. It's really not. I wouldn't be surprised in a few months if Tom followed me, except on his end, it would be Pittsburgh. So in this case, people are probably going to say to me, okay, well, what are you going to do now? The answer to that question is I'm going to be staying right here at home, and I'll be rooting for the New York Islanders, my home team. That's what I'm going to be doing. And for those of you who don't know, I'm also a big Islander fan. Tom knew this already, but I'm going to be covering the New York Islanders a little bit more frequently now than, ever before, honestly, because at this point, the Sabres and Terry Pegula just really pissed me off. And the news has been coming out lately, and I'm just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out of here. So that's kind of why I abruptly stopped giving a shit about the Sabres. I mean, I'll catch up on them once in a while, but I am not going back, even if they ever become cup contenders again.
I getcha. And I will say this. I will not disavow the Sabres, even though they are my home team, and although we've had 14 years of absolute misery from them. And of course, Kevin Adams wanting to say, oh, let's go get some palm trees. Well, Kevin Adams really should not be the GM. It should be Jason Karamanos. If anybody's still in the organization, that's still actually there. But we'll see what happens this season. But, it is what it is. And, hey, you got to do what you got to do. And, no shame of that. I mean, we've expanded. I mean, just think about it. 5 years ago when we started this show, we were pretty much hockey only, and now we cover everything. So...
Yeah, from football to baseball to hockey, a little bit of basketball from time to time. But in general, though, I just strongly believe at this point that my time as a Sabres fan has come to an end and it needed to come out from my mental health. And it was not healthy. And I've already made the move by, I wouldn't say selling, but I've already donated my Sabres goat head hoodies and sweatshirts and pullovers and t-shirts, things like that over time. So if anybody's interested in any of the baseball caps that I'm going to be donating or giving away or I'm going to sell, I'll post the picture up and you guys can look at it, whatever you want. And then we'll go from there. We'll discuss it, whatever.
There you go. Hell, actually, if anyone's interested, hey, maybe he'll even autograph it for you. Who knows?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that, in a sense that we'll work something out. But yeah, no, I just feel at this point, it feels more necessary and more natural for me to be an Islanders fan at this point. And again, I've always been an Islander fan because I always viewed them as the second team in my life because I was always so focused on the Sabres. But now, if you notice, in the last couple of years, I went from being, oh my God, I was so angry to, yeah, okay, well, if I miss a game or two, then whatever.
Mhm.
And I missed, you know what, to be honest with you, I missed a lot of Sabres games this year because I don't give a fuck about them anymore. Because of the fact that if they don't want to put out a product consistently,
Mhm.
why should I care in return?
Right. Well, that's the point. They haven't put out a good product, and look at and basically look what happened in terms of like a lot of the losing streak and all that fun stuff. I mean, there's just nothing there.
I mean, how many years is it going to take for me to be happy for them to say, "Oh, I'm so happy I went through a 14-year playoff drought." How long is it going to take for me to be happy that they did not go on a 10-game losing streak or have a late playoff collapse or
Mhm.
anything like that? What's it going to fucking take? And even if they ever do become good again, I'm not going back because Terry Pagula in a million years, never did I think any sports team in my life that I've always rooted for, whether it was the Mets, whether it was the Bills, whether it's the Islanders or the Sabres, I would, in a million years, never have I ever imagined that I would ever step down from a certain of team.
Right, and it takes a lot to do that, and I would have thought even with Wilpon owning the Mets that might have given it a run for its money, but at least he had the balls to sell the team, and look at them now. They're actually, I think, what, only 2 games back or something. I mean, they're right in the hunt.
Like, here's the big thing with the Wilpons. Yes, they were cheap, but they also had deep playoff runs when they were owners.
Hmm.
So it's not like anything out of the ordinary. The Islanders too, once Charles Wang sold the team to John Ledecky and Scott Malkin, the Islanders had like two deep playoff runs in the conference finals in
Yeah.
back-to-back years, and you knew that I was very advocate about the Islanders at that time.
Right, and now it's like there's more change coming to the Islanders, and actually that's what we'll kick off the show with tonight. So, of course, the Islanders have a new GM. Captain Lou is out, and Patrick Waugh is still around.
Well, so in case you've been living under a rock, the New York Islanders have decided to hire Matthew Darsh, who was the assistant GM for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And yes, he was one of the big masterminds behind those two Stanley Cups in the early 2020s with Tampa during the bubble. And no, Julian Brisebois really taught him well. And Darsh is a young guy. He's never been an NHL GM before, but he has experience and he knows what it takes to get to the Stanley Cup because a good portion of the players that are on the Tampa Bay Lightning were guys that he handily chose. Guys
Mhm.
like, Brayton Point or Anthony Cirelli, just to name a few people.
Yeah, and that's not the only change that ended up coming because there were some other changes in the NHL as well. And besides Matthew Darch getting a new job, Jeff Blazel is the new coach of the Chicago Blackhawks, which that ought to be interesting to see how things go there. Because I remember when he was first the coach of the Detroit Red Wings when they brought him in, he was hyped, and then he crashed and burned with that team missing, and they missed the playoffs for, what was it, like the first time in like over 25 years or something like that, and then they were consistently gone for a while. But then Ken Howland was also the GM at the time, and they had some big misses in terms of talent. And then on top of it as well, Mitch Love's got a new job, and he's the head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Well, let's start from the top with Blashill. Blashill is now going into Chicago, and already I've seen people say, well, what is that going to do for Connor Bedard? The only benefit I could think of is that Chicago, they needed a voice that will get them going in terms of development. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that's a big thing that Blashill brings to the table. Like I know that I know he was the last head coach for the Red Wings before they missed the playoffs, but Jeff Blashill is all about young development. He's not a veteran guy.
Mhm.
And the Blackhawks have a lot of young talent. Guys like Connor Bedard, Frank Nazar, and a bunch of other players as well that they have. Connor Murphy is another one.
Yeah.
So realistically, the Blackhawks, uh, they're a young team, but I don't think they're going anywhere this year. At least I don't think. Unless they make a massive move in the offseason that will put
Right.
them in that conversation. But
Yeah, and let's not forget too. I mean, he was a very good coach with Grand Rapids, which was the AHL team of Detroit before he got moved up and things went south. So, I mean, we can't knock his record for that. It's just he had a shit time in Detroit.
Well, I wouldn't say it was a shit time in general because the Red Wings, you have to understand, when he took over, the Red Wings empire was falling apart. And they were not the same team as they were in the
Right.
90s and
I
in the
think they were
2000s.
one of the oldest rosters, if not the oldest roster in the NHL at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Blashill's fault about the asset management moves. That was all Ken Holland because he was stubborn and he said, you know what? I'm going to trade a first round pick for Kyle Quincy. And that first round pick, by the way, turned into Andre Vasilevsky.
Right. Which is not a bad move.
No. But I think a big thing, too, is now Ken Holland, because I think you talked about it briefly a few weeks ago when I was away, is that Ken Holland became the GM of the LA Kings.
He did.
So that's something. But I am excited for Darsh though, because I want to see what he could bring to the table, and we'll get a better understanding of his vision for the team tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as of May 29th. So we'll see what he brings to the table. But I want to see what Chicago does with Blashill. So let's see if he can fully develop, Bedard, because I'm not going to say it's make or break for Bedard because I think he has the talent. I think it's just the whole entire team around him has to get better. They have to start somewhere.
Yeah, they do. And that also brings us up to the Boston Bruins because Marco Sturm, even though he's not yet confirmed as a head coach, it is looking like he will be their new head coach.
It's already been confirmed, by the way,
Did they
by
just. Yeah, who confirmed it?
the Boston Bruins themselves.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so Marco Sturm is the new head coach of the Boston Bruins, and comes after replacing Jim Montgomery because the guy got fired because of incompetent ownership and management by the Bruins boys club that kind of slowly get them to a decline. And you know what, too? Good on Boston because they've been so competitive now for almost 20 years. And now this is actually the first legit year. The Bruins are horrible, and they now have to go to uh a breaking point. No Brad Marchand, no Patrice Bergeron, and Pasta's the only relevant player on the Bruins right now. And you have to go get Marco Sturm to kind of be the guy.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of nice. They're actually going outside their usual group for a change, which is a nice change to see.
See, I don't know if I agree with that take entirely because Marco Sturm, if you know, he was part of the Joe Thornton trade that took place 20 years ago.
Mhm. Right.
He was part of that.
So we'll see what happens to Boston. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see what he does with that roster and what kind of moves that they make, especially with the draft coming up in the not too distant future. But going back to our Sabres, and God help us all if this happens because there will be a total revolt on this team. Apparently, the rumors of JJ Peterka getting the offer sheet, and all I can say is, Kevin Adams, you better not let that guy go.
This is exactly why I gave up on them. This is why I've converted myself to the Islanders moving forward. Is of stupid shit like this from Kevin Adams. First off, it was already reported yesterday by Frank Saravelli. He said that JJ Peterka is the top candidate to be traded this offseason by the Buffalo Sabres. That's number one. And number two, the rumor is, according to what Tom is saying, he said that the Sabres may trade JJ Peterka this summer with the risk of an offer sheet coming their way. So, translation, get something for him before he walks away and gets a nice, handsome deal for much cheaper than what the Sabres could have paid for him.
No, Adams, you better keep him. You better pay him. you better keep Bowen Byram because he's the only defenseman that's actually doing half a damn other than Darlene. But if you
Yeah,
let him go, then it's like you got no defense again.
and now you understand why I left in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually some networks are even saying, oh, hey, the perfect JJ Peterka, Bowen Byram trade combo for the Buffalo Sabres. I'm like, I swear to God, that better not happen. And that was actually reported by the Locked On Sabres podcast as well, too. And apparently there are some ideas that some people have had. Honestly, don't trade either one of them. They're part of your future. And you got to build around them. I mean, especially with JJ Peterka being one of the fastest guys on the team, and he's actually developed a good shot. I mean, you got to keep him. You got to build around him. He is part of the core. And, I mean, a lot of other teams would love to have him, but it's like, seriously, I mean, Adams, if you let him go, then you deserve to be fired as a GM right before the season even starts. In fact, shit, you don't even deserve to be in the draft.
Well, this is why, again, like I said before, Pagula likes yes men, and he's not going to fire Kevin Adams just because the fans want him. I treat the Sabres now at this point as just another team in the NHL for a very good reason. But I think at that point now, if Adams is not going to make the proper moves moving forward for anybody in your sanity, I think that at this point, you have to do what's best for the team. You have to fire him because he's not getting anywhere. He's basically this year's version of Garth Snow. But hell, even Garth Snow was able to develop players in a certain aspect before anything else.
Yeah. I mean, simple. Terry, if you want to fix a team, fire Adams and bring in and make the GM Jason Karamanos. He actually knows what the hell he's doing.
Oh my God.
He'd be a massive upgrade over Adams.
I mean, not only is JJ Peterka being rumored to be traded and also Bowen Byram, but Jack Quinn also. See, here's my thing. When I was watching Jack Quinn in the last couple of years, I know he has that reputation of being hurt all the time, but I feel like he was never really given a chance.
I mean, there's a lot of ways he hasn't been given a chance, and I don't think the system was exactly the right fit for him in a lot of cases. Watch, you throw him on some other team, he'll probably outperform everybody.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I really don't know what's going to happen moving forward, but as far as I know, this team is in deep shit with Adams as GM.
Yeah, they are.
They're in deep shit, and I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
And what's even scarier is Pagula, and I was having this conversation with myself the other day, is I read an article, maybe you could correct me on this. Supposedly, the Sabres want to build a new stadium outside of Buffalo.
There's been some rumors about that. I mean, I haven't really heard anything that's a definite on it yet. But at the very least, I mean, the KeyBank Center will get some renovations once the new stadium's done in 2026. But then at the same time, there has been some talk about moving the arena next to Highmark Stadium and basically making it a sports district. And that's one of the things that the town of Hamburg has been talking about as of late is how to redevelop all that area, because the new stadium is going to take part of the now former ECC South campus. And the community college has moved their buildings, and they moved a lot of their classes to the north campus or the main campus downtown. So there's going to be a lot of space that's going to be opened up to allow for a lot of development. And there's already talk, there's at least one hotel that's signing on that wants to be part of it. There are some restaurants and some different bars that want to be part of it, and they want to kind of model it after what the New England Patriots did and what Green Bay did, and they're looking at some examples like the Battery in Atlanta, which is next to Truist Park, where they developed a whole entire area that keeps people there. And then one of the things even a lot of people have been talking about is extend the train to the stadium. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You have tracks there, and that's a relatively cheaper thing than building the one tunnel on the 33 that people have been talking about. But there's nothing specific yet in terms of how they want to go about that. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point that they do try to do something. But then also Pagola invested in the Harbor Center, which is connected to the KeyBank Center. So my guess, and this is just purely my guess, the arena gets a renovation, and that's what I'm kind of thinking. But only time will tell what's going to happen, because the arena itself is in okay shape, but it does need an upgrade, and there needs to be changes made.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the city, said that they're not looking to uh extend the lease for the KeyBank Center after next season, because the Sabres have to start making up a plan for the for a new future home.
Well, the city doesn't want to be responsible for anything with the KeyBank Center, so they're in debt as it is, and Erie County wants out of the stadium business altogether because they're not going to have anything to do with the new Highmark Stadium once it opens. It's going to be state run. It's going to be owned by the state for the first 15 years, and then Pagola can buy it out after the first 15 years, which he probably will do, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Now, if they take a similar approach with any possible new arena, I would have to think that it probably will end up getting built right next to the new stadium, or across the street from the new stadium, where the current stadium sits. It's very preliminary though, but there would have to be a lot of things done to make it work. And on top of it, there would have to be improvements on how to get there. That's one of the things. Now, luckily for me, and we'll talk about this later on, when I went to the stadium this past Friday to be one of the extras in the new Hallmark movie, Holiday Touchdown and Bill's Love Story, I will say, from where I live, it's 35 minutes to the stadium, which it's easy for me to get there. Hop the 190, hop the Skyway, I'm there in 35 minutes. But for others that can't do that, there have to be some improvements made. And I know one of the things that the local transit authority, NFTA, is doing is that they're running some buses to the Bills games now, and they're doing some different things to help get people there. But they got to do something more long term, and I think extending the train out that way is probably the best way to do it. It just costs a ton of money to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that, but we'll see what they do. But as far as the Sabres are concerned, they're not going to really, do a whole lot. And I think if they can't fix their own team, what makes me think that they're going to, fix their own stadium issue? Because Pagola, I think, and knowing, obviously what he's done for the Bills, because he's just been very hands off about them, and knowing that, he's been in position with the Sabres for as long as he's been owner, it doesn't change anything. He's not willing to change, any criteria about the team. He doesn't want to spend. And that's been a big problem. And that's something I still to this day I don't understand. And by the way, congrats to the Bandits on winning the three-peat thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
A Pagola team actually wins something that he doesn't have his hands on.
yeah, for once. But in general, though, it's like, why are the Sabres the only team that he has control with? There's a mystery. And the fact that, he's been in sole control for so long, I truly don't understand it. But the fact that he's the sole reason why I left to begin with really speaks volume about me. Because it's the fact that I stood up for myself, I stood up for my mental health, I stood up for my dignity, because I can't do it anymore because you have that fucking scumbag being the owner. And if he wants to win me back, you win a fucking championship in 5 years, then I would consider it. But I'm not coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I got you. And, we'll see what happens with the draft. The draft is going to be interesting because, with the Sabres dropping those 2 spots and drafting in the 9th spot now, this year's draft, honestly, is not a very deep draft.
It never was. But here's the thing about the Islanders is that the Islanders are now in a very interesting position because you obviously get the first overall pick. Nobody expected them to get it, myself included. And I remember saying to myself, I said, okay, Buffalo has a high pick, and then the Islanders have a high pick. And I was saying that at that time, because obviously I was rooting for both teams still, but at that time I was like, okay, it's either going to be the Islanders or it's going to be the Penguins. I was convinced it was going to be the Penguins because the NHL loves to reboot teams like Edmonton and Pittsburgh and keep them relevant as long as possible. And then all of a sudden, here comes the Islanders, and then now you have 3 key players in the top 3 that you could easily take. You could take James Higgins, And he's from Hawk Park. He grew up in Long Island. You could take him, but I feel like if they take him, it's considered a PR move. But if they feel he's the best player available, then take him. Same with Matthew Schaefer. Same with Michael Misa. You know, you have talent. You just have to evaluate it, and you have to look at it from the bigger picture. Because again, what's even crazier is the Islanders also have not only the first overall pick, you also have a new GM, and he still has to pick his assistant GMs. He has to still make a decision if Patrick Waugh is going to be there next year, and they have to figure out like who's going to be on the staff and who's not going to be on the staff. There has been talk that Darsh might have him pick his own staff because when Patrick Waugh got here a year and a half ago, Lou Lamoriello assigned him assistant coaches that were previously coached by Lane Lambert. That's what it was. Because I was thinking of Doug Way for some reason, but it was Lane Lambert. And then Patrick Waugh takes over, and then it's like you're stuck with his assistants. And for some fucking reason, I would think Darsh, if he keeps Waugh, then he's gonna let him pick his own assistant coaches.
Right.
If he doesn't stay, I'm curious who they bring in.
Right. Oh, and note to Lindy Ruff, fire your assistants because there is no way in hell Matt Ellis should still be part of this team.
Quite literally. And again, I used to say that all the time about Lane Lambert because Lane Lambert was an assistant for Barry Trotz for a handful of years, and then of course Barry Trotz gets fired after 1 year, and you remember me pitching and moaning about this.
I still don't think he should have been fired at that time, but
I was so fucking pissed when Trotz got fired. I blew all fucking steam in the entire episode a couple of years ago.
I remember that.
And you're like, Bobby, you're having an aneurysm. I'm like, no, I am not having a fucking aneurysm. It's the fact that you don't fire Barry Trotz just because you missed the playoffs by 1 year. You don't do that.
Right. You know what you should do for classic old time's sake? We should bring out the bullhorn at some point and have you rant about the Sabres again.
Oh yeah. That would be hilarious. But I am interested and I am excited to see what Darsh brings to the table because if you remember from last week when Adam was with us, I said it's either going to be Mark Bergevin or it was going to be Darsh. I said I want Darsh. And I said if they got Mark Bergevin to be the GM, I said I swear to fucking God, I'm going to be pissed as shit. And sure enough, thank God that not only did they not get Bergevin, they also kept their hands off of Brendan Shanahan.
Right.
And Frank Elliot Friedman came out with a statement about why the Islanders did not bring in Shanahan. I don't know if you heard this or not.
Well, at least they didn't, and they at least had some sense about him.
Well, okay, so what happened was the original plan was for the Islanders to pick their guy. They picked Darsh.
Yeah.
Then they were going to bring in a president of hockey operations. They were going to talk to Brendan Shanahan. And what happened is they tried to talk to Shanahan, and they didn't even bother calling him. And the main reason why they didn't bother calling him is because, for one, because of timing, because around the time they spoke to Shanahan, Darsh was signing his contract with the team.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, they also looked at his reputation with Toronto. And we all saw that with the Shanahan plan. That did not work out. And they found out that Shanahan is a control freak. And they don't want any influence on that on the Islanders. They don't want that at all.
Yeah.
So they said, we're not going to even bother touching Shanahan. Now, if he goes to Buffalo or if he goes to another team,
Jesus, please no.
I'm not sure how I would feel about that if he were to go to Buffalo. Because I remember you said, I think it was 2 weeks ago you said it?
Yeah, Lou Lamoriello was spotted here in Buffalo in the airport.
Word of advice, coming from an Islanders fan.
Yeah, I don't want him.
Lou Lamoriello, okay, here's the thing about Lou Lamoriello. He's a very old school coach. I mean, I'm sorry, he's a very old school GM. He's basically saying no facial hair, no long hair, no mullets, no jewelry, mind you, and it's going to be hefty albatross contracts.
Yeah.
So,
and basically spend into Kingdom Come.
Quite literally. I mean, he already butchered the Islanders' top six. I mean, JG Pajot, he's a free agent. And you know what's really interesting, too, is I actually have more details about Lou Lamoriello, speaking of which. And I think it's kind of funny in a sense. So before he got fired, there was a report that came out remember a while ago, a month ago or 2 months ago, when around the trade deadline, we
Mhm.
talked about Kyle Palmieri saying that he was
Right.
going to sign with the Islanders and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reported deal is that Kyle Palmieri was going to get a multi-year deal with the team before Lou Lamoriello was fired by the Islanders, and now because of the move, he's going to be a free agent come July 1.
Oh boy. And apparently the rumor is Lou Lamoriello might become a senior advisor here of the Sabres, which explains why he was here.
Fuck. Fuck. I feel so bad for you.
I don't want that geriatric old ass here. Jesus Christ, Terry, why? For once, can't you, keep your hands off this team and fire Adams first? Ugh. Oh, God. Help us all. All I can say is this. If it was a perfect world, basically the two of us would be firing everybody in that front office. We'd be taking over, and there we go.
Oh my God, I have not laughed this hard in a while.
I really do not want Captain Lou here.
Hey guys, I have a joke for you. The Buffalo Sabres!
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Now and you know what too? Have fun, motherfucker, because at the end of the day, you're gonna feel the pain that I went through for 5 fucking years with Lou Lamoriello.
Oh, God.
Trust me, he's gonna fuck it up. I know he will.
Oh, so get this. So Sabres Noise is actually reporting on something here with Lou, and basically, apparently, Lou might be giving the Sabres a second crack at him.
Are you?
It's like, and he was in the airport on Wednesday the 5th. He was in the airport on the 15th, which is just about 2 weeks ago.
I was away when this happened. Oh my God. Tom, I feel so sorry for you, man. Oh my God.
Jesus, Terry, you've only had 3 GMs in the last 11 years, and you've not made the playoffs in 14. And I mean, what the? I mean, you've got Jason Caramanos. Just make him the GM already.
Oh my God, what a shit show.
And apparently, Caramanos refused to attend any exit interviews also. So, I mean, one of the things Caramanos did, at least he's smart with how he with the drafting. But Jesus Christ, why do you need Captain Lou?
You know why? Because he's gonna be making the trades. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, watch. Terry will fire him, and then we'll have the oldest GM in the league. I'm like, oh my God, watch. He'll probably die while he's at the frickin' podium.
You know who else this happened to? This, surprisingly, too, happened to the Islanders. Because Garth Snow was still GM when he was here, and originally Lou Lamoriello was brought in to be the president of hockey operations, and because they saw the valuation of Garth Snow for within the 15 years he was GM, out the door, and then he becomes the GM full-time and brings in Barry Trotz.
Yeah, forces him out.
I mean, fuck, dude.
Oy. Hell, even your own Drive for 5 on Instagram showed Captain Lou in the airport.
Oh my God.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I think it's safe to say we're going for year 15 without playoffs now.
Oh my God. Oh my God,
Damn.
I'm so
Motherfucker.
I can't.
Can't we just get a competent person in there for the love of freaking God? is it that much to ask? That we
Apparently
actually
is.
get somebody that knows how to run a damn team and is not a yes man for a change?
Yeah, newsflash, Lou Lamoriello is not a yes man.
Well, at least we got that, but I don't want some geriatric old fuck in the office. And sorry to any old people that watch us, it's just Lou Lamoriello is like ready to literally drop over and keel over or something.
God, I have not laughed in such a long time. Oh God, could you imagine the games next year against the Sabres? Oh my God.
Oh God, don't remind me.
Oh my
good
God.
Lord.
I don't think I've laughed this hard in a long time.
This is already making me dread next season.
Well, if it makes you feel better, check this out. So, supposedly during the trade deadline, before Brock Nelson got traded to the Avalanche, there was a story that came out for Marco D'Amico, who I believe covers the Montreal Canadiens, and he said that Brock Nelson rejected a trade that would have sent him to the Winnipeg Jets at the trade deadline, and the actual details of this actually came out. And holy shit, I am so glad that he nixed the deal. So the deal was is that the Jets and the Islanders had a deal in place that would have sent Brock Nelson, to the Jets, best team in the league at that time. And the package deal was highlighted of Brad Lampard, Colby Barlow, or Brandon Yeager in a first-round pick.
Oh God.
Yeah, if there's one thing I know about Brad Lampard, that dude is a total cancer. And the Jets didn't want to draft him, but because of ownership, they said, draft the guy, Shirley.
Yeah, that was not good. That would have not been good.
And you know what? The Islanders dodged a huge bullet.
Yeah, they did. They did. And you know who else dodged a really huge bullet? The Carolina Hurricanes, because they actually got off their ass and won a game.
Oh my God, their record is pathetic.
Yeah, they're down 3-1. And actually, right now, they're actually up 1-0 in Florida in Game 5.
Well, the Panthers better get their ass moving if they want to knock this out. Because I have a feeling if they go 7, the Panthers are actually going to blow it this time.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, and even the other thing that's going to be interesting is tomorrow night, Edmonton and Dallas. And who would have thought that Dallas would be trailing 3-1 in this series?
Me.
Yeah. Edmonton's actually has some pretty decent goaltending, too.
Actually, I'm lying. I said Dallas and Florida for the Stanley Cup.
Right.
So, yeah. So, no, I just think that's crazy to think that we're almost at the end of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The draft is in a month away from now. And then on top of all that, I get to laugh at the Sabres because of their incompetence.
Fuck you. Fuck you, dude. Yeah, rub in the misery, well, don't you?
Yeah, right? I went with it, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, fuck.
Oh, God. Fuck me, man. But, what was I going to say before? Oh, shit. Oh, the Winter Classic logo for 2026 got unveiled. Did you see it?
I have not had a chance to see that yet.
I'm going to send it to you right now. So, it's actually really ugly, I guess you could say. Check it out. This is the logo.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, this is an actual logo that was published.
Hell?
So wait.
It looks like a palm tree ended up having sex with a jukebox from Happy Days.
What?
Yeah, it's like the retro Happy Days shit with a frickin' palm tree on it. Oh, Kevin Adams, you like palm trees. Why don't you go down there and blow one?
But yeah, no, this logo is very weird. So it says Winter Classic. It has a palm tree with snow on it. I mean, realistically, when was the last time there was snow in Florida? In January in Jacksonville?
Virtually never. Almost never.
Yeah, almost never. And for some reason, they got snow in northern Florida. Nowhere near South Beach, my friend.
Jesus Christ, NHL, what the hell are you doing?
You're ruining a beautiful event.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh my god. I mean, first off, this logo doesn't even make any sense.
No.
Snow on a palm tree, and then you put Miami Vice colors on there, like hot pink and white and
Ugh.
light blue. I mean, come on. What the hell is all this shit? And
Yeah,
it's like
seriously.
Miami Marlins colors.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Bad job, NHL. That was absolutely a pathetic go at it.
I truly don't understand this. I mean, why are they even approving this to begin with? You think the words Winter Classic in
Mhm.
quotation, not Summer Classic or whatever. It's never cold in Florida. It's
Right.
never cold. And yet they have the audacity to put the Panthers and the Rangers in an outdoor game. And
Mhm.
people are already complaining about the weather. Oh, I wonder what time the game starts. Oh, you better be careful because the sun's going to come out and melt it. And yet, here you come with this ugly fucking logo. So, hold on 1 second. So, you were willing to cancel the All Star game in Long Island to suck their dick for next year for
Mhm.
the Olympics. So, you're having a kickoff special. That's now on the Islanders website, by the way. And then, so instead of spending money on that, you spend money on a piece of shit like this.
Yeah, really. Good job,
I,
Batman. You fuck.
Like, what the hell is this shit? Why is there a palm trees covered in snow in this logo? It doesn't make sense. You're better off seeing this as a Super Bowl logo.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. That's like one of the worst logos I've seen in a while.
No, they turned something beautiful and they ruined it. I mean, the last time they did something this stupid was, remember the Stadium Series in 2014
Yeah.
when it was in Southern California?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they botched that whole thing, of course.
Yeah, and I think there was some problems with it, with the ice melting, and
Yeah,
I
yeah, the air temperature was too hot.
this is easily going to be one of the worst winter classics I have ever seen.
Right. It probably will be. I mean, we can almost bet on that right now.
And you wonder why everybody fucking hates Batman.
Yeah. Well, anyone with half a brain has always hated Batman.
God damn it.
Yeah. But
I mean, my head just hurts just from, like, looking at this piece of shit.
right.
I mean, like, what did that do, realistically?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, why Batman? Why would you put a winter game in Miami of all places?
But better yet, why are you putting 2 outdoor games in Florida? One in
Yeah.
Miami and one in Tampa Bay in February.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It never
makes no
made sense.
And if you're gonna put one in Florida, at least put it in Tampa because at least they have a fan base that's more consistent.
Well, the Panthers are their new golden child. That's probably why they did this. Remember the Blackhawks used to get all those outdoor games? I mean, yeah, they got one earlier this year.
Yeah, until they started to suck.
Yeah, they started. Well, I think the only reason they did it was because they could showcase Connor Bedard, and even by that standard, he didn't do anything.
No, he really didn't, and they haven't really given him anything to work with.
Well, there you go. He's a budding superstar, and people say he's going to be somehow be better than McDavid, and yet here we are. He's almost in year 3 in the National Hockey League with no supporting cast, unless they throw
Right.
all their eggs in one basket at Mitch Marner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I don't know if that'll work, but it's like that'll be a fun thing to figure out where Mitch Marner ends up going potentially. But
I'm calling it now. Brock Besser is going to sign a 4-year deal with the Islanders come July 1st.
all right, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But you know what? Let's go on to better news. Let's go on to baseball because at least we've got some good things coming forward from that. And I know Andy, who's been on the show before, I know he wasn't happy about the fact that the Mets beat the Dodgers, but that was nice to see.
Andy could suck at show because that guy is a fucking sore loser.
Mets keep winning.
So for anybody who doesn't know up there, Andy Van Meer is a co-host of ours, and he shows up once in a blue moon, and he is a behemoth LA Dodgers fan, and I give him shit all the time. Ever since the NLCS last October, when it was a 6-game loss, he just kept bragging about World Series rings. I'm like, dude, it's a new year. And even if the Mets beat them in 2 out of the last 3 at Citi Field, and they're going to play again next week anyway in LA, he just says, whoa, what World Series championships do you guys have? I'm like, dude, I don't care about your World Series championship. You won it. Congratulations. But there's a reason why not many people like you. It's because of the fact that, you know, you have to constantly brag that you have a fucking World Series against the Mets last year. Oh my God, congratulations. It's not like the Mets had any expectations last spring.
Hell, we didn't even think they were making the playoffs until they made that late season run.
Yeah, and they did all this before getting Soto.
Right. Although Soto hit a slump because he's not done much in the last 14 games, but
Yeah, but you know what? Honestly, I'm not really worried about him because
yeah.
he
I
usually
mean,
blossoms.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
And I mean, the rest of the team's actually performing pretty well too. I mean, just look at Alonso, look at what you have with Lindor. I mean, them two are doing good. Beatty's doing all right. So,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
pitching's been better. So,
well, there is something I want to discuss because there is a rumor coming out about Paul Skeens, and I sent it to you
Mhm.
earlier today. And the Mets are somehow the linked, I would say, the most to Paul Skeens. And I would kill
dude,
to have
I would
Paul Skeens.
love for them to pick it up.
Yeah. So apparently, John Harper, who covers a local newspaper in New Jersey, he said that Jim Bowden offers 5 trade proposals for Paul Skeens that could get the Pirates' attention from the New York Mets. And the proposed deal is Carson Bange, Jet Williams, Brandon Sproat, and Ryan Clifford. And have to believe that GM David Stearns would sprint to the phone to make that deal, but he doesn't see the Pirates doing it.
Well, the Pirates are going to hold on to him as long as they can, but at the same time, the Pirates are known for getting rid of good players, and they've done it plenty of times. I mean, the Pirates right now are a dumpster fire in terms of Bob Nutting owning the team. He has done nothing for them. He's a cheap ass owner. He doesn't want to pay to keep good players around. The Pittsburgh Pirates finally have a rock star pitcher, and even Paul Skeens is calling them out, saying it's like this team sucks because we have nobody here.
Yeah, I mean, you have O'Neill Cruz, you have Brian Reynolds, you have
And
Paul Skeens.
they brought back McCutcheon on the cheap.
Yeah, but McCutcheon's like 37 years old.
Right. I mean that they had Aroldis Chapman for a season or two, and he left. So
He gone.
right, the Cuban
So-
Missile.
The Pirates can't even win right. I mean, Henry Davis is a bust so far because
Mm.
you know why? Because the Bucks rushed him in the minors into the majors. Oh my God, what a climatic theatric like thing to do.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, the Pirates just don't know how to manage. Although I will say their new GM, or no, their new bench boss got ejected again against the Tigers, so that's cool to see. But
Well, our buddy Rob Hazer, who's a big Pirates fan, said, "Well, they did have that big comeback win against the Diamondbacks the other day or two, and
oh wow, one win.
yeah, 1 win, and you have what? You don't even have 25 fucking wins, and we're already what
Yeah,
50 plus games into the season.
exactly, which means they ain't making the playoffs.
Yeah, more than like no, the Bucks. They're
Yeah.
saying we're not going to the playoffs. The Marlins said we're not going to the playoffs. But if there's one team that's really standing above the rest, that really says hold my beer, is the Rockies.
Oh god. Oh my god, their record is so, they are ass, dude. Only 8 wins.
Make that 9, actually.
Holy shit, they're what, 9-56?
No, they're 9-46. And guess who sees them on Friday? This guy.
Oh god. Oh man.
I mean, fuck
A
me.
9-46.
Oh, and their winning percentage? .164.
Oh god.
How many games have they lost? They lost 4 in a row, and they won 1.
Oh my god. I will say this, for as much crap as I'm giving the Sabres right now, it could be a lot worse. We could be the Colorado Rockies with that win percentage.
Oh god, the Rockies are horrible.
Ugh. If there was ever a case to relegate a team into the minors, the Rockies are a perfect example of it.
Dear Colorado Rockies fans, I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
I am so sorry.
We are sorry for your misery.
I mean, legit. This is their pitching core. Ready? Zach Agnos, Jake Bird, Kyle Freeland, who's probably the best one on this roster, Tanner Gordon, Seth Halverson, Jimmy Herget, Tyler Kinley, German Marquez, who actually I take that back. Marquez is the best pitcher on the Rockies.
Mhm.
Poor bastard. Then you have your hitters. You have Adil Lamador, Orlando Arcia, who just got picked up off of waivers, I think, by the Angels. God damn it. Then you have Kyle Farmer, Tyler Freeman, Ryan McMahon, Michael Toglia, Ezekiel Tover. Then you have Jordan Beck, Britton Doyle, Nick
Mhm.
Martini, and Mickey Moniak. Jesus fucking Christ. That's not
Yeah.
good at all.
Yeah. And you know what? Bryce Harper told him the way it is. Did you hear about that?
What?
Yeah, so Bryce Harper actually took a nice little cheap shot at the Colorado Rockies back on May 14th. And what ended up happening is that even though there was a bench clearing brawl, I mean, there weren't any punches or anything. But what happened is Rockies reliever Jake Bird ended up barking something at the Phillies dugout during a scoreless inning, and Bryce Harper decided to confront him. So basically, Bryce Harper said, "You're a loser fucking organization, every single one of you." And that was reported on Yahoo Sports, and basically, hey, Harper was telling them the straight up truth.
As he should.
Yeah, and the sad thing was that week, going into that Monday, they were 7-33 at the time,
That is just horrible.
and then they lost to the Texas Rangers 2-1 in the opener of that 3-game series. So of course that happened, and then what happened is then they ended up getting rid of their bench manager Bud Black. And then they brought in Warren Schaefer, who's a 40-year-old lifer for the Rockies since they drafted him in 2007. So they named him the interim manager through the end of the year. But here's one other problem with the Rockies, though. They have not finished above 500 since 2018, which is the last time they made the playoffs.
Oh my god.
And they have the worst record in all of Major League Baseball since 2019.
They also have one of the worst contracts in baseball too, in fucking Chris Bryant, who's not even in the starting rotation.
Yeah, which is pretty bad. But I mean, they only have like 3 hitters that are at a league average level or above, and everyone else is below average.
Oh my god.
I mean, you don't win games if you can't mount an offense, and you don't win games if you can't mount pitching. And
It doesn't make any sense.
yeah, Colorado doesn't want to do anything for it.
Well, there's that, you know? I mean,
Yeah, and apparently their team
I
owner
just
Dick
find-
Monfort won't do anything.
Dick Monfort's a cheap ass. He's not going to do. He's Terry Pagula, but just with a shittier operation.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Who's the worst owner out of all these? This is a fun question. And actually, if you guys want to comment on it, feel free. Terry Pagula with the Sabres. And I'm leaving the Bills out of it because he actually keeps our hands off of it. But Terry Pagula with the Sabres. Dick Monfort of the Colorado Rockies. Or Bob Nutting of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Among the 3 or just in general?
Just out of the 3 in general. Like, who would you say is the worst owner?
I would probably say Dick Monfort because the Rockies have nothing. At least the Bucks have Paul Skeens, and then you have Pagula, who's very hands off about the Bills and the Bandits.
Right. And the Bandits have won 3 straight titles. The
There you
Bills
go.
actually are in the playoffs for like the last 7 years.
But if you're asking about like who's the worst owner in general, I would probably say those 3 should definitely be in the category. But I would even put James Dolan on here, and I'm not
Oh,
even a
God.
basketball guy, but he's very hands off about the Knicks as of late because that used to be his boy toy to fuck
Yeah.
with, and now it's the Rangers he's fucking with.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the Knicks actually had a pretty deep playoff run until they lost to Indiana, so.
I mean, they're still technically in it for now, even though I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think Indiana's up on them still, but I don't see the Knicks coming back. But in either case, I mean, right now, I mean, the bad thing about Colorado, I mean, they have a good scouting group. It's just their owner won't do anything.
No, they won't. I mean, it's not going to change as long as they're in charge.
Yeah. And apparently, they say in terms of technology, the Rockies are far behind 29 other clubs. I mean, he won't do anything to give them any type of an advantage. And basically, Monford's like, nope, we're not spending anything. You guys don't need it. Nah, we don't. We can stay stuck in the 2010s.
Yeah, another owner I think we should definitely, who I think deserves to be blasted in this category, is John Fisher, who was the owner of the Athletics.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Yeah, they hate their stadium situation right now.
Yeah, they don't even know if they're gonna play in Las Vegas. It's more like, oh, are you gonna play in Las Vegas? Are you gonna go back to Oakland? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, nobody knows that situation.
Yeah, and what's even shittier is not even before the 2020 pandemic, the Athletics had a very good team on paper. They were a good baseball team. They had a good pet. They had a good bullpen. They had good hitters at that time, and half of them
Yeah.
are not even there anymore.
Right. I mean, their outfield wasn't bad. I mean, they could mount a good offense and they were winning games.
Yeah, quite frankly. And it's gotten so bad now that the A's temporary stay in Sacramento is Sutter Health Park in Sacramento, where the River Cats play, has been fraught with challenges, leading to mounting frustration among staff and players. And recently, manager Mark Kotze recently criticized the stadium's layout after a controversial play involving a ball hitting the foul ball went unnoticed due to poor visibility, contributing to a loss against the Angels. And players have also expressed dissatisfaction with the facility's design, citing issues like obstructive dugout features and subpar clubhouse conditions. And with the team holding one of the worst home records in all of baseball and facing the possibility of remaining at the venue until 2028 if their Las Vegas stadium faces delays, the situation underscores the complexities of their interim relocation.
Yeah, so they're basically a team with nowhere to go for a while.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Arizona Coyotes just a
Mhm.
few years ago, where the plan was for the Coyotes to get a brand new state of the art arena in downtown Phoenix, and they needed the voters to say yes on the deal. And
Right.
all three phases, they all said no. And then we all know what happened there.
Mhm.
Playing in a
Yeah.
5,000 seat college hockey arena, overpricing on tickets. I think it was like 500 per person, which is
Yeah, we talked
nuts.
about that in one episode a while back where the going rate was like $500 a seat and it's like you priced out your fans, of course you're not going to get the attendance.
Yeah, and you wonder why did the Coyotes move out? Is it just because they suck? I don't think, and no fault to the fans, honestly, because
Mhm.
at that point, the same could be said about the A's. The A's are in a very crappy situation because of the fact that John Fisher has put in no investment into the team whatsoever.
Right.
Because here's the thing: when he knew the Oakland Coliseum was outdated, he knew this.
Mhm.
So what he did instead of saying, okay, let's build a new state of the art ballpark in Howard Terminal in Oakland, which was their saving grace at that point,
Right.
built the stadium at your Howard Terminal, and boom, you have a fancy ass new stadium that you can easily play in, and you could be in Oakland long term. But no, what this prick decides to do, instead of doing that, he basically drained out all the money from the team and let everybody else go and go to either contenders or whatever. Marcus
Yeah.
Simeon is a perfect example of this. Marcus Simeon played for the Athletics for many, many years,
Mhm.
and he went to the Blue Jays. Well, he's kind of there. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm right. So he was on the Blue Jays. Then he goes to the Rangers, and he went to World Series.
Right.
So yeah. So in that case, they also had a really good, pitching core, and Matt Miller's pretty good in general. But the
Mhm.
A's, they really have like nothing to work with, and the biggest contract ever given by the team was Luis Severino, 3 years, $67 million, coming from the Mets to the Athletics,
Right.
and he hasn't done shit since he signed
Yeah.
that contract.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's like that whole team is a shell of what it used to be because they actually had a pretty good team out there for a lot of years, and it's just now with no investment into the team, and I mean, I don't see them doing anything for a while. It's like no wonder you have like fans that don't want to be there anymore.
I mean, I don't personally blame the fans because honestly, Sacramento is nothing more than a temporary home. And oh, let's just say they haven't started construction on a brand new stadium yet in downtown Las Vegas, and it's going to be within the Vegas Strip, near T-Mobile Park and
Hmm.
Allegiant Stadium, etc.
Yeah.
This, things like that. Like again, if they were just if John Fisher was willing to put money into a stadium at Howard
Mhm.
Terminal, none of this would have happened.
Right. Yeah, and he wanted everything to be covered by the taxpayers, which of course they're not going to do. Um, and then you just drain the resources of the team. Well, that's stupid because then you're basically telling your fan base, oh, you don't matter. We're not going to put anything out, so whatever. You're stuck.
And you know what, too? The fans in Oakland were so loyal
They
to the
were.
team, and they've been for many, many years. And I followed somebody on YouTube who was a diehard Oakland A's fan.
Hmm.
And next thing you know, he was at their last game against the Texas Rangers,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I gotta say, since Fisher has been owner, and since he relocated them, moving them intentionally out of Oakland, he has treated that fan base like absolute shit.
Hmm.
They got treated like shit into oblivion. Like, that's not even funny.
Yeah.
The fact that he intentionally ran that team to the ground just to get out of Oakland to go to Las Vegas is the biggest middle finger that you could give to any fan base in sports.
It is. It is. And Oakland, for a long time, has been a really good baseball city. They really have. I mean, they've supported that team very well.
Yeah, and they love that team because now Oakland is the only professional city in America to lose all three sports. They lost the Warriors, which people
Yeah,
forget,
they moved across the bay to San Francisco.
to San Francisco. Then you had the Raiders, who just moved from Las Vegas.
Yeah, a couple years ago. And now the A's.
Yeah, and now you have the Athletics, who are going to supposedly move to Las Vegas, which we don't even know yet.
Right. And Lord
there's
knows
no-
what's going to happen there.
Yeah, this whole thing has just been such a disaster. Like, again, I feel so bad for A's fans. I
Yeah.
really do. Like, they're very loyal, but you know what? Kind of like how I am about the Sabres, I don't think anybody would be rooting for them, especially now that they moved out of Oakland.
Yeah, probably not. It wouldn't surprise me. But that being said, I mean, there are some interesting things that happened in football actually as of this past week, and then after we go through the football news, I'll talk a little bit about the movie that I got to be a part of. But Desmond Ritter announced that he may be retiring from football.
Yeah, this is a big downfall for a quarterback. But
Mm.
yeah, so apparently Desmond Ritter might be retiring from the game of football for good. And supposedly, he was expected to try out with the Broncos rookie minicamp earlier this month, but he backed out due to what was labeled as a scheduling conflict. But Sean Payton told reporters that Ritter is still, quote, possibly thinking about what he wants to do with his career, hinting that retirement is now at the table for a guy that's only 25.
Mhm.
And you know what? Since being released by the Arizona Cardinals earlier this offseason, he hasn't had much interest. And with the NFL draft bringing in a fresh wave of QBs, the window that he had being in the league is really shrinking fast. And if this is his career stats. And that is that Desmond Ritter had 4,002 passing yards, 21 touchdowns in total, 14 interceptions, and he had a 63.6 completion rating percentage.
Yikes.
So I do feel bad for Desmond Ritter because our
Mhm.
friend Derek Roberg, who's a huge Atlanta Falcons fan, had
Yeah.
a lot of faith in Desmond Ritter. And then all of a sudden, he's probably going to end up retiring.
Hmm. Yeah, it's very possible. And then on top of it, I mean, Joey Bosa is going to be out at least until training camp because he ended up hurting his quad. So he's not taking part in any OTAs.
We're not even in training camp yet, and the guy's already hurt.
Uh huh.
Yeah, big flipping surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God damn it.
Ay.
That's all he's been known for. Like, yeah, he's a damn good pass rusher, but you're paying him to perform in the playoffs, not get hurt and be on IR for the majority of the year.
Right. Right.
I mean, at least it's in the offseason, so it's not something I'm worried about.
Very true. Very true. But still, it's one of those things you don't want to be seeing that, especially at this point. It's just not one of those things you want to run into.
No, not at all. But good thing too that the Bills will have moving into camp is, depth. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, they will. They will. And that's a big plus. So that and wide receivers have been getting a good look. So I mean that's a big plus. And then on top of it, one of the things actually that's come out, Elijah Moore so far in OTAs has been looking really good.
Yeah, it's interesting because he has a 1-year deal, and him and Keon Coleman are going to be buddy buddy going into the season,
Mhm.
which is really nice. And there actually have been pictures of Coleman putting on some weight, like some muscle growth,
Yeah.
since his rookie season last year.
And that's good. And that's good. Bulking up, getting stronger, and doing all that. Obviously, James Cook is not at the OTAs, so that's no surprise.
Yeah. And Tyreek Hill, well, actually, I want to get to the Dolphins a little bit
Yeah.
because there is some stuff I want to talk about them and their AFC
Yeah,
divisional
Tyreek Hill went
counterpart.
off the deep end.
Oh yeah, and I want to talk about them and their AFC divisional counterparts. But yeah, let's start with the Dolphins. So he went on a live stream, I think it was yesterday, with Aiton Ross. It was like a big time streamer. He hung out with Donald Trump
Mhm.
last August. But
Yeah.
aside the point, so they're both Florida residents. Aiton Ross is a huge Dolphins fan. He had Tyreek Hill on his live stream. I think it was on Twitch, and Tyreek Hill was asked about the Bills. And he basically said, "Fuck the Bills. It's fuck the Bills all day, and their fans suck ass."
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and he also basically took a big jab at us, basically by saying that they have CTE and are stupid.
Oh, nice.
Oh no! Have you seen your record against the Bills, Tyreek?
Yeah. You
Wow.
lose almost every single outing.
Yeah, and of course he couldn't mention the Bills without not bringing up his past with Kansas City. Oh,
Mhm.
when we was on the Chiefs, we used to beat the Bills all the time. They were our bitch. And then when I came to Miami, we kept beating them 9 times out of 10.
Okay, first off, Tyreek, you haven't beaten the Bills 9 times out of 10 since you came to Miami, number one. Number two, your wide receiver core in Miami is ass. Your offense is ass. Your defense is ass. Tua is one concussion away from being dead on the field. And your head coach is a freaking chain pot smoker who doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground with getting the team ready.
And your defensive back partner, Jalen Ramsey, might be on his way out in the beginning of June.
Exactly. And one of your fans was so stupid to put a lit on fire gas grill underneath a car that it blew up like 4 cars in the parking lot.
And basically doing his best George Floyd emulation by resisting arrest.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that he died, but it's like, he was resisting arrest and shit like that. Like, yeah, I'm Tyreek Hill, blah, 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 blah. That dude's a total cancer. And you know what? I'm glad that the Bills are not going to trade for him.
Exactly. We don't need him, quite frankly. And Miami's not going to do anything. They hardly did anything in the draft to begin with.
And they hardly did anything in free agency except sign Zach Wilson.
Yeah, which that's nothing, so.
Yeah. And speaking of the Dolphins, apparently the plan from the Dolphins themselves is to trade away Jalen Ramsey within the first few days of June. They have no plans or desire on letting this drag out through training camp as the team looks to fix the broken culture that they have built there. Oh, gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel. Maybe you should start by firing him, and maybe you'll actually start putting in a good culture.
Oh, yay. It's not like we've seen this movie before, right?
Yeah. Yep, they did the same thing with Brian Flores. Now you have, now it's a totally different situation, but the way they railroaded him out of there, he didn't deserve that. And then now Mike McDaniel, oh, let's go on our little ayahuasca treat with Professor Rogers. But I can't control you guys, so now we have to try to save face, and yeah, we're gonna start finding you. And we have to at least try to make you sort of conform to the rules. And maybe I'll let you still smoke some weed a little bit here and there. That's literally what Mike McDaniel does.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I can't get these guys controlled. We have a pretty good team, and I have a lot of faith in Tua. Dude, you sound like you're fucking high!
That's because he is probably high.
Yeah, and if that's not bad enough, Jalen Ramsey is getting interest from multiple teams, including the Rams, Cowboys, and the Commanders. And supposedly the Commanders have been linked to Jalen Ramsey the most. And
Ooh,
Miami's
he'd be a
looking
nice
to
addition
trade
for
him.
them.
Yeah, he would be. I mean, Washington's had a pretty nice offseason.
They've
Deebo
rebuilt
Samuel-
themselves pretty well the last couple of years, and especially now that they have a QB, they actually have a decent offensive line, and they've rebuilt that defense. I mean, they're in a good spot to make another run.
Big time. And you know what? They not only got Debo, they got Laramie Tunsil in a trade from the Texans,
Yeah,
and then they
good move
and
for
they
them.
and they're the front runners to get Jalen Ramsey. Okay, that's
Oh,
not
man.
terrible.
No, that isn't. And honestly, good for them because they actually deserve good football for a change.
Yeah, and they're getting that gorgeous new stadium in a couple of years.
Yeah, they already started tearing down the old RFK Stadium. So, I mean, it'll be nice to see them move back into the district and actually be easy to get to versus that shithole known as now it's known as Northwest Stadium, but it was known as FedEx Field for a while.
And I've been in there, and it is a total dump.
Yeah, it is. But at least you didn't have raining sewage on you when you were there, so.
Speaking of rainy sewage, did you see what's been going on with Stephon Diggs as of late?
Oh, yeah, he got caught with the pink baggie on a boat.
Yeah, so
And
I didn't
Vrabel
even-
said, we'll just handle it internally. Jesus Christ.
I laugh at the Patriots every day for citing him.
Oh, good Lord, how stupid are they?
They're very desperate, and they are very
Yes.
stupid.
Yes, they are.
What more than ruining Drake May's development than bringing in Stephon fucking Diggs?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. And it's like, hey, congrats, Mike Vrabel. You already have a problem you got to worry about.
Yeah, it's something that we're aware of, and obviously we want to make great decisions on and off the field. And any conversations I've had with Steph will remain between him and I at the club. What the fuck?
Screw that. Make it
That's-
public.
Yeah, and on top of all that, the context of that video, I apparently found out he's dating Cardi B.
Oh,
And the video-
Jesus.
Yeah, and apparently, Diggs was seen in the video handing out pink-looking substances to other women. And believe it or not, I actually looked into this. It turns out he was giving away something called pink cocaine.
Oh, God.
First off, how is cocaine pink? That's number one.
Right. Number two, last I remember, it's not legal.
And three, not only was Cardi B in there, but he was also griping other women as well, saying, hey, I'm the biggest bitch on the boat with all this money, and has all these women on him.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
including Cardi B, but she's ghetto, and we know this.
Oh, God. He's trying to be like Diddy with all the women.
Yep, or any other
Yeesh.
washed-up NFL wide receiver with a big ego. I mean, have fun, Patriots. This is what you paid for.
Yeah, it's your problem now, not ours.
Yep,
And we actually
And-
got better once we got rid of Diggs.
yep, and like I said, the Patriots. In fact, I think I found the picture of the pink substance.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, let me go grab it real quick, and I will tell you all about it. Because honestly, it's kind of hilarious in its own right. Yep.
Mhm.
And you know what's even more fucked up too?
What's that?
Is that WIVB.com actually reported what this was.
Ah, okay. I haven't had a chance to look at that site yet.
I'm gonna tell you right now. So it's from Carla K. Johnson, who's a part of the Associated Press, and that I believe they have a big role in the Buffalo area.
Mhm.
And they basically said a recreational drug called pink cocaine is getting attention and causing confusion since it doesn't typically contain cocaine. And the pink powder really, it's really a grab bag of different drugs dyed in pink, has turned up in drug seizures and prompting warnings from law enforcement.
Oh, God.
So basically, what Stephon Diggs has is technically illegal.
Right.
What a dumbass!
Why does it not surprise me that he would do something stupid like that?
But this
Oh,
is
wait.
Stephon-
It's because he has.
Yep, he's done stupid shit. He's been in sexual assault allegations. He's doing drug allegations. What else did he do?
Let's see. Trying to think. I don't know if he's had abusive allegations, but
Oh, I remember him acting like a little bitch towards Kirk Cousins and Josh Allen because he couldn't get the ball enough.
yeah, that too. That too. That
And it-
doesn't surprise me.
Yep, it was me, all about me.
Mhm.
And then he has the audacity in his press conference with the Patriots, he had the audacity to say that Drake May was his guy and it reminds him of Josh Allen. Okay, then why didn't you stay in Buffalo then, you fucking asshole?
Right. Exactly. It makes no sense.
Nothing with him doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
But I sent you the link to the picture of the pink cocaine.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. So, that being said, one more football thing, and then we'll talk about the Hallmark movie. But Tom Brady wants to be a UFL team owner, and he's willing to do quite a bit to make that happen.
Yeah, so about that. So Tom Brady came out the other day and he basically said that he's interested in purchasing a UFL team, according to Mark Perry of the NFL News Hub. And Brady is currently partial owner of the Las Vegas Raiders and also happens to live in Tampa Bay. And the UFL recently filed for the Tampa Bay Bandits trademark on May 6th, which is AKA expansion in the UFL.
Mhm.
So Tom Brady wants minority ownership of that team. But not only does Tom Brady want minority ownership, the Kelsey brothers also want minority ownership of a UFL team.
Interesting. So, will Tom Brady get a team? Time will tell. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. I mean, I think it's very possible, and he certainly could get that. I mean, he's definitely got money to do it. And then, of course, he has other backers that he could easily get to be part of it. So, I think it happens at some point.
It's probably going to happen, but I think it's more of a time will tell kind of a game. Because if he truly does have interest, then, good for him. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, and then last but not least, let's talk about Holiday Touchdown on Bill's love story, because I was at the stadium Friday night and it was not downpouring like Thursday, but I gotta say, for the first time being part of a movie shoot, it was actually pretty interesting. So there was over 3,000 people, and I actually had a ticket to get in there early on. There were a ton of people just standing outside, like just trying to get in for like standing room or whatever. But the way they had it set up, they started the actual filming, I want to say around 9:30, because they had to wait for everyone to be accommodated and then get checked in. They did have concessions open for us, which was cool. We were in one of the clubs, so they had that. And then it was actually cool. I actually got to talk to somebody that went to the Seattle game. That was there, and they were with that one group that asked us if we wanted to be in a picture, and we said no. So it was interesting. So they were out there, and I actually met a couple others as well. And and I see my ex-wife is calling. But anyways, but it was interesting though, because of the fact that there were so many people there, and we all braved the elements. It was like in the 40s. But it was a good time. I got to actually walk on the field, got to actually stand on the 50, and got some pictures of that. Now, I can't release any video I took because they want us to hang on to that until December. But I was able to take some video of some different things that went on, and got some pictures on the field and all that. And it was pretty cool. We were done by about 1:30 in the morning, and I will say, with just only like 3,000 people in the stadium, and all of us, I mean, you could hear us echoing loud when they had us cheering at certain points. And we didn't get to meet the actors, but it was a fun experience. And I actually got to meet one of the guys that threw the ball to Stephon Diggs in the M&T Bank commercial a couple of years ago. The guy who wears the wing hat.
Oh, wow, that's cool. But in general, I actually do have a question about this whole event. So, because you said that you started filming around 9 and then it ended around like 1:30 in the morning, was there any like bathroom breaks that you guys were allowed to take? Like, were you able to take a shit or take a piss in the process? Or it was more of like no, you have to just get your system out and then do it?
Yeah, they did give us a break about halfway through, so they did let us do that, and so that was good. But I mean, everyone was pretty cool to work with, though.
Do you think you made the cut?
I don't know. But I will say this, though. I'm the only one that wore that Bills Salute to Service hoodie. That white camo one with the black on black Bills logo and the black on black Bills hat I have.
Well, did they say that that like the part you shot, is that going to be like at least a scene in the movie that they're looking to adjust?
Yeah,
or
I don't know how they're gonna do that yet. I mean, they did about 10 takes of each scene that they did, and then they had us actually swap at one point just to make it look like it was the same thing but from a different angle. And then they did a couple things where they like had us all bunch into to one of the sections as well. So it was interesting how they did it. But the only thing that I will say about it though, it's pretty interesting because it does have a little bit of a salute to service part of it in there, and I can't really give away too much, but it is pretty interesting how that whole thing went, and how they recognize somebody as part of the script. And they actually announced like what was happening as we went throughout the script as well too, so we knew what to expect, and we knew like different angles and stuff they were going to shoot from. So overall, I mean, we knew what was happening, and weather held out, and it wasn't bad.
That's good. I mean, were you guys like wearing like heavy coats and jackets and stuff in like 80-degree weather?
No, I mean it was only in the 40s. I mean, I just threw on Under Armour and I had like 3 layers on, so I was fine. I mean, I just brought that waterproof jacket like I did to Seattle just in case, but I mean I didn't wear it really at all. And I just had waterproof. I had those waterproof boots on like I had when we went to that Dallas game.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but that was basically it. I mean, I was comfortable the entire time, so I wasn't worried about it.
Well, I mean, at least you didn't get wet. At least it was a nice evening.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. And I will tell you that new stadium next door, though, holy crap, that thing is huge.
Apparently, there's an issue with the new stadium. Supposedly that they might not get this built on time because of some sort of like uh certificate that the Bills have yet to get, and they have to get it by June or something like
Oh,
that.
they'll still start playing on time. It's just some of the like minor finish pieces won't be done until December, but they're still gonna open it on time.
Okay, because there was an article that I saw today from Brody Brazil, good guy to watch on YouTube,
Yeah, I've
and
seen
he
it
was
before.
and he was talking about this, and I said to myself, I'm not really worried about it if that's what he's bringing up, because the Bills at that point have already, they've already got a majority of like the outer layers and the inner layers of the new stadium done anyway.
Yeah, yeah, and they're already putting the seats in. So really, what it is just the minor like punch items, which is like the finish stuff. That's the only thing that they mention will be delayed, but. Otherwise, I mean, the stadium is still expected to open on time. It's just more like the stuff that you won't see behind the scenes that they'll just still have to finish up.
So it's kind of like what the Islanders did a few years ago with UBS Arena. Like the stadium got built on time, but the parking lot was nowhere near done yet.
Right, exactly, and that's pretty much what it is. So it's just minor stuff, but I mean, the seating, all that stuff, concessions, everything like that will definitely be done in time for when they open up for the 2026-27 season. So basically with that, I mean, the new stadium's going to open on time. It's just a couple of things will not be finished until December. So it's like 3 months behind schedule. It's not too far out.
Well, I mean, as long as they get it on time, I don't think the people care. As long as they're able to get inside the stadium and experience it and all that stuff. I think it's going to be interesting that, people will get a chance to see the new stadium in preseason in 2026.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and I definitely want to try and get tickets to a game, in the new stadium once it opens up. So that's definitely something that I want to do. But no, just seeing it in person though, and how huge, like how tall it is. I mean, it is a massive place, and I mean, it's like 3 times the size, like overall size. It's like 3 times the size of the current Highmark Stadium, and it's at least double the height of the current stadium because they stacked it to be more like the arena downtown, where you're going to have very steep seating, which is cool. Because they said the lower level is going to be about 25 feet closer to the field, and the upper deck's going to be like 50 feet closer to the field than it is in the current stadium. But it's going to be stacked high like a hockey arena, so you're going to have very good sight lines on everything. And it's just with that allowed them to really expand the concourse spaces, so you have room to move around and all that. So that part's cool. But yeah, they're starting to enclose the stadium. They're starting to put some of the wall panels up and all that stuff. So it'll be, it's not that far away from being done, quite honestly. And it'll be fun to see once they start putting in the grass field and getting that set. And yes, thank God they will not have artificial turf anymore. That's one thing Pegula did that was smart. He's actually putting in a real natural grass field.
Yeah, because
Like Arrowhead.
I think he saw other stadiums like the Jets with artificial turf and the Bengals with
Mhm.
artificial turf,
Yeah.
and they said, you know what, we can't have that.
Right, exactly. So good to see them getting that stuff done, and basically with that, I mean, there's a lot of articles that have already debunked the whole thing about, oh well, the Bill Stadium won't open on time. It's not. No, it will. It's only some of the behind the scenes stuff that won't be done until December, but it's gonna be open on time. So that part will be a good thing. Be nice to experience it and just see what they do.
Well, the other thing too that's going to be really nice when the new stadium gets built is they're going to have to do less shoveling at that point. Like I'm sure they'll do some shoveling, but it won't be as bad as it is currently right now, where
Yeah.
there's like no protection at all from any of
Yeah.
the elements.
Yeah, I mean the roof that they put, well, the overhang is going to cover about 65% of the seats, so that's good, and it'll be nice to actually see that. So you're not going to get snowed on as much or anything like that, but it's still but it's kind of like it's going to give you the best of both, where you get to have everything in the elements, but at the same time you're also somewhat protected from the elements to an extent. So that part's not bad. So it's kind of like a little compromise. I mean, obviously, ownership didn't want a retractable roof. It would have added like an extra $2 billion, but I know there are people that did want to have it. But at the same time, hey, we're used to the cold and we enjoy it. So it still gives us like the best of both worlds, I guess.
Well, another thing too that I must mention because I actually saw an article coming out, a while ago about the Sands project, the Las Vegas Sands
Yeah,
casino project that got debunked.
yeah.
Well, I found out today from Al Iaquinta. Yeah, I'm having a hard time saying his name. Al Iaquinta, the former UFC fighter, Long
hmm
Island rep. He actually made a video. I think he's a real estate guy now, but he's been out of the UFC for about 3 or 4 years. So he made a video today, and I saw this, and he made an argument, and I may have said this a while ago, with the Las Vegas Sands project for the casino that got
hmm
shut down by the county.
Yeah.
They're doing another vote in June, but in this vote, they're looking to expand the Coliseum parking lot because there has been speculation because there's a guy named John Bassett,
hmm
and he's a Jets fan, and he actually sent out a plan, like a blueprint plan of its current like stadium project to the
hmm
town of Hempstead for the county to look at as well and all that stuff on both sides and to say, okay, what can we do to make this happen? And supposedly, instead of turning it into a casino, they want to turn that into a state of the art arena for the New York Jets in a couple of years.
Interesting. And you know what? That actually would not be a bad spot for him.
Well, here's the issue. The issue is, oh my God, Florida just tied it.
Ooh, making it interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anyway, Uno reverse card. So the issue with the Coliseum is that you've been there. It's very small, the parking lot, and then you have
hmm
Hofstra, and you have Nassau Community College,
Yep.
and then you have a cancer research building in that area, along with the Marriott Hotel.
hmm
The issue with that is you would have to knock down the Marriott Hotel. You would also have to make limitational space for parking and stuff like that, and there's no
hmm
transportation area,
Right.
so that's going to be a challenge on its own. And it's a lot more difficult than people think, especially if you don't live in the area.
hmm
People that live in the area know that it's going to be challenging. There has been talks of Queens. There has been talks of Nassau County with Uniondale. Because here's the thing: is when I was a kid, the Jets used to host training camp when Rex Ryan was there. In the second to last year, when he
hmm
was there, the Jets used to host training camp at Hofstra University. So, and it was
Right.
free to the public and all that stuff. So they want to bring the Jets back into Nassau County and call it home publicly because I believe I'm not mistaken, their lease at MetLife Stadium ends, I think, in 2029, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, and they've been sharing that and they've been sharing a stadium with the Giants for years now, and that's even before the current MetLife Stadium was built.
Yeah, and I'm actually sending you the video now
hmm
of what I'm talking about because this is a pretty big deal. Because if they say yes, then there's a potential chance of not only potentially making the casino, but they can also make it an alternative option like a strip for the
hmm
New York Jets.
That would be interesting to see what they do, and you know, I mean, it'll give the Jets finally their own home because I know they tried the West Side Stadium proposal and that got shot down, and that would have been over at the Hudson Yards right in the city. But I mean, and then of course I know they have the Polo Grounds that they're trying to recreate right by City Field too. But at the same time, it'd be interesting to see what happens out of that story. Whether they go to the island or whether they try to find somewhere in the city itself, or what they want to do with it. But I mean, if the Jets were to go out to Uniondale, I mean, that's not honestly a bad thing. They just have to figure out the transportation situation.
And they have to figure out the surrounding buildings. Again, you have Nassau Community College, you have the Cradle of Aviation, you have the Nassau County Cancer Research Station, you also have the Marriott, and you have Hofstra. So you have a
Right.
shitload of buildings. Now, unless instead of going horizontal with the building, go vertical with the stadium, and maybe you might get some sort of attraction. But you don't want to just
Mhm.
build a stadium in the middle of nowhere. You want to
Right.
be able to build a strip, get a casino, because there's going to be a lot of attraction. And I'm telling you right now, if the Jets were to get the land to build the new state of the art arena in that area,
Hmm.
chances are they will make a lot of money, and it will save a lot of people a trip from going from there to New Jersey. And I
Hmm.
also wouldn't be surprised that if the project were to be confirmed by any means necessary, the Giants could pursue following. Because here's the thing: MetLife Stadium is almost 20 years old at this point in its
Hmm.
lifespan, and it is really aging poorly.
Right. Right. And it was not even that good of a stadium when it was built. So it's just, I know a lot of fans don't like it. I know the teams don't necessarily like it. It's just not a good stadium for both teams.
Yeah, and I've been there multiple times. I was there for the Stadium Series with the Devils and the Flyers. I was there for almost every Jets Bills game at MetLife in the last couple of
Right.
years before going to KC. I did all that. I know what it's like to be at MetLife Stadium. My brother went to see Luke Combs at MetLife. It's
Hmm.
a fucking dump. And I don't understand why anybody in their right mind would want to go to MetLife Stadium. It's legitimately in East Rutherford in the Meadowlands, and it's in
Right.
the shittiest part of the state.
Yeah. It's not exactly the best spot for either of them. So,
Yeah, and the
yeah.
funny thing thing too is the Giants back in the '60s used to play at Yankee Stadium, and the
Right.
Jets played at Shea Stadium.
Right. And then they moved across the river. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but the other issue too with the city is that there's not enough room to build a new stadium to begin with. The closest thing that you could probably get is Queens, or if you're lucky to get some sort of space in what the hell is it? Oh, in Uniondale, that's what it was.
Hmm.
That's one of your only two options. I mean, realistically, there's almost little to no room in Long Island to even build a
Right.
football stadium that size.
Yeah, or you'd have to go further out on the island, but then you have to make sure you're near Long Island Railroad if that's the case.
Yeah, and you have to demolish the Nassau Coliseum in order to make that happen to begin with.
Right. Or, I mean, if they go further out on the island, I know there's like a mall that just recently shut down. They can demolish that whole thing, but I already think, but I'm trying to think where that was, if it was near
Yeah,
like
that's
Hauppauge or,
Sunrise Mall in Massapequa.
yeah. Like, I know that whole thing's being torn down, but I think they got something going in to replace it, so.
They do, and apparently a man named Jeff Bezos wants the land.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, right. Another Amazon headquarters. It's not like we have those.
Right. And Bezos doesn't even run Amazon necessarily as much as he used to either. So
I think his ex-wife does it.
yeah, well, actually, our CEO I think is Andy Jeffrey, if I remember right now. But
Yeah, Bezos doesn't even have full control of the company anymore. But regardless of the situation, Amazon is just a monopoly at this point.
yeah, yeah. But
But in general,
yeah, in general, hey, it'll be a fun thing to keep an eye on though, and just see what they do. And I mean, the Bills decided to go more vertical in the new stadium, which is how they were able to make it bigger, but still, make the seating a lot more intimidating. So it'll be interesting to see how everything turns out and what they decide to do with the Jets or the Giants in that case. But other than that, I was gonna say we've already gone an hour and a half. Was there anything else you wanted to throw in before we wrap it up for the week?
there actually is one more thing I want to mention real quick, and this is actually about Hard Knocks. So
Mm-hmm.
I just reading this now. Supposedly Tim Graham, who covered, I believe, the Buffalo News. Am I right on that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he reportedly said that the Bills did not want to be on Hard Knocks this year. And he said, quote, the Bills did not want to be on the show and they are not proud to be chosen for Hard Knocks. They did not seek to be featured on the show. And he wrote this about wanting nothing to do with it.
Interesting. But yet, we're still going to see him anyways.
Well, they'll survive.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll
It
be
is what it
fine.
is.
Yep, for sure. But
Yeah.
that being said, it's another week, and basically we're not too far off from the NHL draft, so that'll be interesting as that comes up, and really from there we'll start taking a look at some of the prospects as we get a little bit closer and seeing everything that happens. But kind of weird to think that we're right there at this point. So
as soon as free agency comes to an end on July 1st in the NHL,
yeah,
we say bye-bye for a few months and we come back like normal in September. And when we
Mhm.
start the new season, which is surprisingly enough, we're going to be going to Pittsburgh in November of next season.
Yep. So of course we'll fill you in more about that as we get closer. But yeah, we really only have, we only have like 5 more shows left.
Until we fuck off for the summer.
Yep, exactly. So
Wait, 5 you said?
yeah, the draft is June 27th.
Oh my god. Actually, yeah, I mean 6 technically if you count July 1st.
Yeah, true. So yeah, we're not that far off.
No, we're not.
But
So I think with that being said, I think that's it for this week.
yeah, so of course, as always, we just want to say thanks to everyone who ended up watching. Of course, if you want to catch this episode, you can go to YouTube or you can also go to Spotify and check us out. But in the meantime, thanks for watching as always. We appreciate it, and welcome to the new subscribers as well. And in the meantime, take care.